ruffle. It's similar to what you might find on a snare drum, what the drummer does. I always try and think of slap bass in terms of groove and what the drums might do as well. So when we have a little fill on a slap in slap bass, it tends to be similar to what a drummer might do. And this little ruffle that I'm doing is very similar to what might be done on a snare drum. That's the ruffle. And it can be done in all kinds of places. Of course, when you're actually playing a groove in a band, you don't want to do this too much. This might be a very good thing to do if it breaks down, gets really subtle, the beat gets low, and you're just grooving along. Whatever, you know. You don't want to get in the way of the rest of the instruments. You don't want to cut in too much over the drums. But anyway, if used tastefully, it can be very nice and very cool. And also it's a very useful technique for slap solos as well, if you want to get into that. Anyway, let's look at the technicalities behind the ruffle and see how it's done. I do it in a very simple way compared to other bass players. For example, I don't go near Victor Wooten's technique because that's his technique and he has a certain way of doing it. It works very well for him, but for me it doesn't work for me. I can't do his technique, so I've devised my own anyway. Or maybe it's not my own, maybe it's the same as the way other people do it, I don't know, but I taught this. I'm pretty much self-taught, so this is what I figured out myself. And basically, on the ruffle, we're using open strings, but the thing is, the open string is so quick that you can barely register the tone, so it sounds more percussive than anything else. So what I'm doing there is I'm using, if we're going to play a D, I use the open A and I hammer onto the D and I pluck the open G and what I do is speed that up. This is like a kind of very fast triplet feel. If I slow it down, that's how it actually sounds. And note also, I am not playing the G open like that. I'm playing a dead note. I'm simply resting my left hand gently across the strings, so we just get a dead note. So let's go through that again. We thumb the open A, we hammer onto the D on the 5th fret, we pluck the G, we hammer the D, we thumb the D, sorry, and then we pop the octave. This technique can also be used on single strings as well. So you can get a variety of textures, but for our intents and purposes, because we've been practicing octaves, let's do it with the octaves. So again, in the context of the bass line, you could put it in places like that, for example. Etc. So I'm actually doing it on the chromatic ascent from C to D, and it's up to D, C sharp, and then to D. So you can use it however you like. Have a lot of fun with it. What I suggest is a practice routine. Try and put it in with that bass line where you're using the hammer pop technique as well. Something like that, you know. You could just practice it on one note till you're comfortable with it, and then you can move it around anywhere on the neck. That's the beauty of it. Because it's dead notes, it doesn't matter what key you're in. You can play it in B flat. Whatever you want to do, you can play it anywhere, because the dead notes won't affect. You won't be able to hear the open strings anyway, because they're just passing notes. So it's all good. So have a lot of fun with that, and feel free to post comments or questions if you have any.